Hi, you guys, welcome back. My name is Sami George, and the purpose of today's video is to talk about contour for the mature face. So we're going to talk about what is contour, why are we talking about light and dark, and then simply a very basic, where do I apply it to give myself a lifted look, as opposed to some of the concerns that people have with contour is that it's going to drag their face down, it's going to make them look muddy, it's going to make them look unnatural. I got you on all those fronts. So if you think today's video is one that will be helpful for you, let's dig in. So what is contouring and why should we consider doing it? Essentially, makeup is the game of light and dark, okay? Right now I have my base makeup on. I did that in a part 1 video. I will link it here. So if you want to learn more about color correction and applying your main foundation shade, I got you. But the purpose now is to move on to like step 3 of our makeup routine, which is creating or bringing back the natural shadows that we have in our face. Once you put your base makeup on, everything looks what they call flat, meaning you kind of just look like you've lost the dimension that's in your skin by applying one color all over. The purpose of contouring, and I'm talking true contouring where we're using an ashier or a cooler undertoned contour as opposed to a warm bronzer. Bronzer will shape the face, it will add structure to the face, but if you're looking to mimic the natural shadows where our bone structure naturally exists in the face, typically you're looking at doing that with something that has a little bit more of a cool undertone, and that is what we consider a contour. Now, the market has gotten a little crazy with what is a contour and what is a bronzer, but for the purposes of today's video, I'm strictly talking about traditional contouring, which is adding that shadow back into the face, adding that dimension and bone structure back into the face after we've applied a base foundation. Now, when you're looking at a mature face, it's going to differ a little bit than what we would do on a face that maybe still has a little bit more collagen in it, a little bit more elasticity to the skin. So that's where we're going to focus today. Our face naturally has a bone structure. We have cheekbones, okay? We have our forehead bone, our jawline, our nose, and what we're looking to do with contour is to just bring a little bit of that structure back, but also in a way that will elevate the face, that will cause it to look a little bit more lifted, that will almost give the illusion of the younger face that has a little bit more collagen and elasticity to it. So on one side of my face, I'm gonna take just a traditional cool toned contour, and I'm gonna do what's called face mapping, where I'm just gonna draw it on so you can simply see it. And then on the other side, I'm going to actually apply it for you. So when you are looking at your face, let's start with the area that I think most people are comfortable or interested in contouring, and that's gonna be the cheekbone. So what we wanna do is we wanna actually find our cheekbone. And if you look at your face and you're like, I don't have a cheekbone, it is there, I promise you. So go to the top of your ear, and I want you to start feeling right here. And you're gonna feel this bone right here. It starts to kind of bump under. What you want to avoid is the hollows. So we're not contouring in this hollow because that will drag the face down. The purpose of this contouring process is to add darkness to this perimeter, to elevate the cheekbones, to snatch out the jawline, and then in the center, we're gonna add a little bit of brightness, because if makeup is the game of light and dark, dark recedes, think black pants. Black pants make things look smaller. Black pillows, if you stand far away, you can't even tell what texture they are, right? Light makes things come forward. Think white pants. White pants make things look larger. When you look at a white pillow, you can often see the texture from farther away, right? So we're gonna go brighter here because we want people to focus on our eyes. And we're gonna go darker on the perimeter to mimic our natural bone structure, but also to cause the face to recede. So let's start with the cheekbone. Top of the ear, okay? We're gonna stop at the outside corner of the eye. That is where I want you to stop as somebody with a mature face. We don't wanna get too close to this area right here and drag the face down. If it helps, you can take a brush. Go to the top of your ear and the outer corner of your mouth. This is essentially the area that we're going to put our contour, and we're gonna stop it at the outside corner of the eye. So right in this area is where you're gonna place your contour. So I'm going top of the ear on my cheekbone, and I'm gonna stop it at the outer corner of the eye. And that's it. This is simply face mapping. On the other side, I will apply it for you. Now, There are a million different ways that you can make your cheeks look fuller, your face look thinner. For the purposes of today's video, we are talking just the basics. So now let's talk about the forehead. I have a very large forehead. Some refer to it as a 5 head. Contour is going to help make that look smaller. If you have a very small forehead, you may not want to contour it at all. That's going to be a matter of choice because remember, darkness is going to recede. It's going to push your forehead back. It's going to make it look smaller. But if it is small and you're thinking, I'd like a little bit of shadow, stick close to just the hairline, okay? So go just by the hairline. Now, for somebody like me who has a larger forehead, here's a trick for you. Find the peaks of your brow and you can actually go from the peak of your brow to the center of the face, okay? I'm going to essentially contour this whole area right here. And that's gonna cause all of this to push back, leaving the center of the face more light and bright. You'll often see people describe it as a 3. Here's where I caution you if you have a more mature face. I do not like to contour this area right here because it's already sinking in. And if we put something dark there, it's gonna recede. It's going to sink in further. I want to pull that area out to make it look like it has more elasticity and more vibrancy. So I can actually brighten in this area. If that's not a concern to you, then you can certainly go all the way through. But for my mature clients, I would stay away from this area right here. Let's talk about the jawline. So when we're contouring our jawline, we're doing that to make this look more snatched, okay? To make this look tighter, like we got a little facelift, right? Think of contour as Spanx for the face. That's kind of my reference for it. So you're not gonna be able to see this all this well, but I'm gonna go behind my ear and I'm gonna bring this down. Now, if you have jowls, you don't wanna bring this underneath that jowl because what's essentially going to happen is if darkness recedes, okay, we're gonna go under, we're gonna cause our jowl to look more prominent. So what you would wanna do is follow that line here. So we're looking just a little bit on the top, okay, where that jowl is. Now, once I get to the chin and that jowling is gone, you can go underneath just like that. Little bit in that divot there, because that's gonna be the lightest part there. So I'm going behind my ear, straight down. If I have that jowl, I'm going just slightly on top and then underneath the chin, and you can pull a little bit down the neck. You'll see in application how this blends so that it doesn't look crazy, okay? Okay, let's talk about nose. If you want to nose contour, this is one that I think is a little intimidating for people at points. Don't be intimidated, it's just makeup. You can wipe it off if you don't like it, right? Why nose contour? Because it's gonna make your nose look slimmer and you can create more of an upturned tip of your nose if that is something that you like. Any of these places that I'm showing you, if you're like, I don't wanna contour there, don't do it. But if you are interested in contouring and you're somebody who wants to contour the nose, your goal is to keep it on the bridge of the nose in 2 thin stripes with just enough space between to put something that would be lighter. So like think about if you put this brush here, you would essentially want to contour right down the side. If I go here, it's gonna make my nose look wider. So I wanna stick to this area right here on the top of the bridge of the nose, okay? So I got a little outside where I would want it here. I wanna stick this more down to create a slimmer looking nose. When I blend it, I'm gonna blend it into the brow so that it doesn't look crazy. Then you're gonna go underneath and it's gonna cause that to pop that up. If you go across the bridge a little bit here, again, we're gonna end up, excuse me, I've been fighting something for like months now. We're gonna look like we have more of an uptoned nose tip, okay? For the purposes of application, I'm gonna use the same product here. And I'm gonna draw right straight down the other part. And then I promise you we're gonna blend it. We're not gonna look crazy, okay? I'm gonna go a little bit closer up towards the brow just so I have some product to work with, but you will see it all come together. Now, I'm also gonna contour a little bit under the lip. And why am I doing that? Because if contour makes things recede, underneath my lip is gonna pull back, giving me a larger looking lip. There are lots of techniques to overlining and like contouring to create a bigger, larger looking pout, but at the basics, just throw a little bit right here, smudge it out, and allow your lip to look a little more full. Okay, if my eyes look red, forgive me. I just had a little bit of a coughing fit. Woo! Okay, now I'm gonna take my detail brush. This is my favorite contouring brush, no matter if I'm using Saint or something else, because I love the end of this. The goal with contour is to really make sure that we are keeping it where we want it and lifting the face up. If you have something round, it's going to cover a larger surface area and it kind of starts to lose its focus of lift and it just looks wide. We really just want to highlight that cheekbone. So I'm gonna take my detail brush, and because I'm gonna contour with my Saint Cream Contour, I'm gonna put it on its side. And I am going to press with some energy in there. The Saint Contour is going to be drier than something like this. And this is gonna be a matter of preference. This contour is a little bit drier on purpose. It was formulated to stay in place. So if you are somebody that's putting on your contour currently and like you're swiping it and you're doing this on the face, it's going to look patchy and you're gonna pull it down. Our goal with this contour, as it is drier, is to place it where it goes by stippling it and then just allowing it to naturally elevate the face. So half the brush, top of the ear, and what I'm gonna do is press this on that same cheekbone line that I drew here. Press, 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 press to the outside corner of the eye. By pressing back and forth, I'm diffusing it. And now I'm gonna take those clean bristles here on the top and I'm going to flick up. Up lifts the face, down becomes a beard, and we don't want that. So stipple, 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 flick, flick, flick. And now we just have emulated the natural shadow that we have on the face. We've lifted up our cheekbone in this area that we had right here. And it's really that simple. Now I'm gonna go in for the forehead, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna tap the whole brush in there. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to press it along the hairline. So if you are somebody with a smaller forehead, go ahead and press it along the hairline and then bring it up into the hairline so we don't have any lines. I'm gonna tap the edge because I wanna diffuse it. Now, as somebody who has the excess room to cover, if you will, I'm gonna find that peak of the brow, right? Peak of the brow, and I'm gonna kind of fill in that area right here. And I'm just going to flick it back. I'm stippling and I'm flicking. And now I've created some darkness that recedes, and the center of my face looks even lighter and brighter. So people are going to notice my forehead less and they're going to be drawn to the center. Do you see just how a little bit of shape on the face and adding a little bit of that cool tone really makes this area pop so much more? It's really a great effect. And when you're talking about Saint's contour, it is meant to be like a part of your actual foundation. So that's why it works so well with the cream makeup. They're all formulated to go together. And the more I press, the more it diffuses. So you can wear this as light or as deep as you want to. So if you're somebody who likes a really snatched contour, just don't press as much as I did. If you're somebody who likes a diffused contour, tap on it. Don't start doing this. One, you're gonna move all your base product underneath. But two, we're gonna drag the face down. We're gonna start to get our contour close to this part of the face, and that's gonna make that part of the face look heavy, where our goal is to make this part of the face look lifted. Now let's go behind the ear. I'm going back to just half of the brush again, because this is a smaller area, and I'm going behind my ear, going underneath my jawline, and where I have the start of this right here, going right on top of that, and I'm coming underneath that jawline. Now, don't stop there. Flick it back and down the neck. You don't want anybody to look at you and see a line. You want to diffuse this down the neck. For the purposes of showing you here, we would put our contour here. We're now chiseling out, and we're gonna push it back. Now our jawline looks more snatched. We've come on top of where you see the start of this jowling, so that pushes that jowling back. It doesn't emphasize it, and that's like the basics right there. Make sure this is diffused out good. Now I'm gonna flip my brush over, and we're gonna see if this contour has started to set on my nose or if it's still really easy to work with. So all I'm gonna do is kind of use that smaller end. You could use your finger if you wanted to, and just press that. See how we're just diffusing that out? Very easy. There is a step after this, okay? We don't want our nose to look like it has stripes. So go ahead and just press that out so we're following into the brow line. Press, press, press. Use your finger if you want. Make sure we get that part. And don't forget under your nose to diffuse that. So now our nose is gonna look slimmer. See how this looks a little bit more upturned because we created that essentially like that pinpoint tip of the nose. You wanna make sure that that is up here. You wanna make sure it's not under here. So we put the contour under here and the line across to add brightness right here. Easy peasy. You don't have to be scared of contouring, I'm telling you. But that is not the last step. After we contour is when we're gonna add our brightener or when you would add your concealer in this process. So I'm gonna take my brightener and that small end of the detail brush and I am going to go next to my nose contour, okay? This is the other half of your nose contour. See the difference that that makes? Adding this light next to that to add the brightness to the center of the face and help diffuse out that line right there. Tap, tap. I'm going underneath my eye bag because you have two lids to your eyes. You have your mobile lid and then you have the lid underneath. This is where things are very, very textured. So I'm going underneath that, down the nose, a little bit by the smile lines. And then I'm gonna go to the outside where I told you that instead of putting contour on a mature face, you can add a little bit of brightener and it's gonna cause that to pop out versus causing it to look more hollow. Now I'm just gonna take what's left between here and I'm gonna go ahead and marry this together. This is the most textured, the most wrinkled part of my under eye. So I'm gonna keep the most minimal product as possible in that area. Other areas that I like to brighten now, I like to go kind of like a palm tree right here, down the center, avoiding where I put that stripe, and then adding a little bit of brightener right on the tip of my nose. Making sure that this is diffused out, kind of just tapping it along that line now so that nothing is too significant. I'm gonna go next to my nose. This is personal preference, adding a little bit of brightener here on my smile line. You need to be light-handed in areas of texture, especially with brighter colors. The lighter and brighter, the more the texture is gonna be emphasized. So stay light-handed, but it does really provide a nice, luminous, like center of the face, and I just really like that. I'm gonna go a little bit here. And I have one more step for you, so don't turn this off until this is completely done. And a little bit on the chin. So now what I want you to think of is we've created this heart. On the outside of the heart is our contour, right? On the inside of the heart is where we put our brightener. Outside is gonna pull back, brightener is going to draw the eye forward. The final step that I recommend that you do is you pounce all over the face, diffuse everything, and make sure that it is beautifully blended and that you don't carry excess product on the face by using your perfector sponge. I've prepped my perfector sponge before I started this video. This is the perfector sponge. It is meant for removing excess cream, not applying liquid foundation. So if you are somebody who's using Saint, I do recommend in every color match that you get this product. You wanna run this under cold water, squeeze it out completely, and then I just take a microfiber cloth, squeeze it again, and I let it sit there while I'm doing my hair, doing my makeup. And right now there is no excess water, but it is cold and damp. And that's exactly what I want it to be in order to remove excess without picking up chunks of makeup off my face or dripping water on my face. All I'm gonna do is now press this all over the face. This is going to help press the makeup into the skin. It's going to diffuse any harsh lines that maybe we missed, and it's going to pick up any excess. If I got too heavy-handed in my smile lines, you see there's a little bit of excess on here, it's gonna remove that. If I got too heavy-handed under the eye, it's gonna remove that. This is like how you add that airbrushed filtered look to the face and keep things out of the 11s, out of your smile lines. Make sure your nose contour doesn't look crazy. and it's just going to beautifully melt everything together. Then I like to look at my face one more time. Do I need any more brightener? Do I need to emphasize any more, or do I need to use any more of my contour? Did I pull up any more makeup than I wanted to? And I really don't think I did. But this is what will keep you. This is your, see, like this was from my under eye. So clearly from my under eye and my nose contour, I had excess product that was sitting on top of the skin. This is gonna push product into the skin and remove that excess product so that nothing is laying heavy. Then you can go ahead and set your makeup. Saint specifically is an emollient cream makeup that doesn't self-set. And that is why your skin is gonna continue to look hydrated. It's gonna continue to look glowing because it doesn't have that alcohol dry down, but you can set it with a light setting powder, a lightweight setting powder, a loose setting powder. If you have oily skin, maybe you want something with a little bit more oomph to it, but you wanna set the areas that are mobile. We have a lot of movement here, there's not a lot of movement here in this area, and you also wanna set any area where maybe you wanna take back some of that glow. I like the glow, but like in the summer, I will definitely set like this area of the face, because I tend to be outside a lot, and that's where I'm gonna get sweaty and where my oil production is gonna increase. On the daily, I go under the eye, around the smile lines, as like, those are the two areas that I'm gonna set no matter what. For today's video, I'm just gonna use the Vanilla Dust setting powder and the more dense end of the Pilot brush, and I'm gonna press that on, but I do wanna make sure that I diffuse some of it out on my hand, because I really, as somebody with mature textured skin, less is more. I'd rather build up my powder than be like, oh man, now my face looks cakey because I applied too much. So just use the warmth of your hand and press that onto those areas where your face is mobile. And I'll show you how it helps kind of remove some of that glow if that's something that you like. If you're somebody who wants to set your whole face, get on in there and set it, girl. You do you. But I typically do not. And that's it. That is the simple, easy peasy. You don't need to worry about looking like a snatched Kardashian who just doesn't look natural. Contouring is actually meant to emulate the natural features that we have on our face. So don't be scared to contour, give it a try. If you found today's video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps out my channel. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. We would love to have you. I upload videos like this on mature skin beauty every week, and we've started going live once a week. So we'd love for you to join our community. That's it for today's video, guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.